from here on in it's actually a case of just tweaking these channels individually until you end up with a combination that you like. I can see from this immediately that I'm going to lower the green channel a little just to bring a little more darkness into the mid-tone areas there. Again, to lighten the highlights, I'm going to raise the red channel a little. You can see if I take that any further up, it starts to blow out all of the highlights. So I'm just going to dial it back to, I think, somewhere around about there will do, bearing in mind that we're going to add another duplicate layer on top of this soon to actually lighten the highlights even more. And I'll just give that a tiny tweak. Now I think that can stay at minus 35, and you'll see here our total figure is now plus 95, which is pretty near 100. If I wanted to, I could also add a little more brightness with this until we get the magic 100 number. That 100% total is really only a guide, but it's a boundary you're best staying within, to be honest. Constant slider, something I rarely use because it's really rather vicious, but basically this governs the overall lightness of the complete image, and bearing that in mind, I think we might just leave that at 0 or minus 1. So now we're happy with that image, and we can click OK to actually apply that adjustment layer. And you'll see there we've ended up with a really nice, powerful, dynamic grayscale image. Okay, so now I want to actually pop the dynamism of this image a bit more, and for that I want to make a duplicate of the copy layer. Just first of all, talking again about the advantage of adjustment layers. With this being an adjustment layer, we can now, if you want to, simply double click the adjustment layer icon and make further alterations to your channel mixer combinations. So that's always useful to bear in mind. Had we done this via the menu commands, that wouldn't have been possible. So it's a good thing to use adjustment layers. Okay, so I'm happy with the channel proportions here, so I now want to flatten the image so we can make a duplicate of the black and white image itself. We'll do that via layer and flatten image. So you see now I've just got the one background layer, which is the adjustment layer combined with the original background layer. So we've got this really nice black and white image. I want to duplicate this, so right click the background layer and choose duplicate layer and simply click OK to that dialog. Now to really pump up the highlights and knock back the shadows in this, I want to choose another blending mode for this duplicated layer, and that blending mode is linear burn. I'll simply go down to that and select it, but you'll see that's far too dramatic and it's really killed the image. So with this being a duplicate layer, we can dial down the opacity of this layer until we're happy with the results, and I think around about 20% is ideal for that. That's a really punchy image with lots of drama. Okay, so the other thing we want to do in this tutorial is slightly tint this image with a very slight blue colour, and again we're going to do this via an adjustment layer. Go to the adjustment layer icon and choose solid fill, and we're presented with the colour picker. I'm going to click in the blue range here and choose a fairly dark, sort of deep midnight blue, and I'll click OK to that. Obviously we want to see the image through this solid fill layer, and we can do that simply by reducing its opacity. We'll take that down to around about 20-ish%, and we'll set the blending mode to colour. Let's just tweak that up a little so that colour's a little more obvious, and we can leave it there. As I say, you can you can have this colour tint as subtle or as strong as you like, simply by controlling the opacity of that layer. And I think I like it a bit there. Just as a final thought, we can actually return to the background layer, choose the dodge tool from the toolbox. We'll reduce the exposure down to around about 8%, and we'll go for the highlights. And with this tool, if I just increase the size of my brush a little, we can literally work on individual highlights here just to lighten them slightly, and you'll see as I work over these highlights they're getting quite significantly brighter, simply because the dodge tool lightens tones, and because we've selected highlights in the range option, it's only lightening tones within the highlight range. So there you are. That's a nice quick way to make a really good job of converting a colour image into black and white. So no more of this image mode grayscale or image adjustments desaturation. The channel mix is a very easy thing to do, and the results it produces bear no comparison at all to the other standard methods of converting to black and white.